Kira, true or false? Far from being selfish, self-care is the ultimate act of service. When you are at your best, everyone benefits.
True, of
True,
course.
indeed.
Welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Kira,
I'm Oscar.
and together we are the
Vita
Vita
Veda.
Veda. It's getting better.
Indeed.
We are here to talk to you today about self-care and the selflessness of self-care. And the reason we're talking to you about that is because our mission here at Vita Veda is to put the being back into business and the well into wealth so that you can enjoy the success you've created once you've created it, rather than not getting to enjoy it because you're too burnt out, overwhelmed, and stressed.
True.
Scene.
And we are living in a world that is really, really up-paced. It's demanded a lot of you as a leader, as an employee, as an employer. And when or where do you actually take a break, take 3 deep breaths, inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 4, and then exhaling for the count of 6 throughout the day, so you can respond rather than react? Because life is going to happen. And when you are in a constant go, you're reacting. You're putting out fires all the time. You're rarely in the state of actually responding to what happens. And when you are in that state, listen, you're not good for anyone.
Exactly.
That's not completely true. You might be good for some people, but you're not the best for everyone. And especially not for yourself. Because you're running yourself towards a wall, towards a burnout, towards being too stressed.
Yeah, I think this is a really important episode because I think in order to break the burnout cycle, it's necessary to break this limiting belief, because it is a limiting belief that I believe we've been programmed by the Matrix to believe, that looking after yourself is selfish. But maybe we'll save that for another episode. But I think it's so important to break that limiting belief in order to get off this hamster wheel of constantly running around. Because if you believe, even subconsciously, that it's selfish to take a time out, to take time for yourself, what you're going to do in your actions is keep running and burning the candle at both ends in order to not be selfish.
And right now we have leaders like 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐧, and we have Dan Sullivan, leaders and high-level entrepreneurs that do speak about take your leisure days, take time off, have empty spaces.
What are we looking for?
Abandoned places.
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, they're taking 3 days and empty spaces.
And many more leaders of high caliber starting to realize that doing more is not equivalent to actually getting more. So in those spaces, in those time where you take time for yourself and you become the better version, you'll be able then, it becomes a ripple effect.
Absolutely. Oscar, in terms of this belief that it's selfish to, practice self-care or take time out, do you know any other forms that it shows up in? Because maybe somebody's watching this and thinking, I don't really think it's selfish. I wouldn't phrase it like that. Can you think of any other ways that this belief might show itself in a different costume, but still have the same effect?
I guess maybe I don't have time.
Yeah, true. That's nice. Like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, that's not on the radar. That's not something that, first of all, will be beneficial for me.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good one. I'm thinking from my side, maybe a belief I know I've struggled with is, if I don't do it, it won't get done. And I think that's kind of the antithesis of this. It's selfish. Like, I can't stop because I'm the one that has to do it. So I just have to keep going, kind of thing. Yeah, I think it can show up in different costumes. So if you don't necessarily think, I don't sit there thinking I'm selfish, maybe just take a moment to notice the regular thoughts or, the beliefs that you are operating from and see if there could be any crossover there.
Definitely.
Do you have any interesting stats for this one?
Let's check. Let's check what we got.
Let's check the stat machine.
Stat machine.
Yeah. What are we looking for? Self-care as a selfless act. It really does require a reprogramming, doesn't it?
Indeed, indeed. So here we go. Leaders who practice mindfulness or self-care are rated 40% more empathetic by their teams. So if you have a leader who actually take that time and responds rather than reacts, you will have a leader that are more empathetic and empathic, exactly. And you'll have a leader that are more aware and present with you. So when you come, you might not get that lash out from somebody being angry or irritated, and you're being in the fire. Same thing goes in with your partner, with your family. You're way better at actually responding and not reacting to life. So taking up between 5 and 10 minutes of some self-care every day, some soft skill, some breathwork, some yoga, some journaling, some affirmation will make you so much more adaptable to life and more responsive rather than reactive.
Yes. Can I jump in there and add in as well? Just actually stripping it back to basics. And I'm reminded of this because I ran my time design masterclass yesterday. You know, if you're actually not even at the stage yet to be thinking about putting mindfulness or yoga or breathwork into your calendar, making sure that you're having proper meal times just as a basic, like making sure you've got time and space to exercise and to, you know, prep your meals, make sure that your clothes are clean, like laundry, like these basics are also self-care. It doesn't have to be necessarily the more esoteric practices, although they are fantastic.
If you live close by a body of water, go down to it, walk close to the body of water, walk into the forest, like be with nature, reconnect with nature and get out there. You will feel the benefits immensely. And I can drop all studies now showing the benefits of being with nature, being in a body of water, being near a body of water. That's other things that you can be doing as well.
Yeah, exactly. So keeping it super simple, because I know, like, I've had clients before that, you know, are like, I just never have time for breakfast, and then I'm starving and stressed at work before, you know, there's meetings, I don't have time to have my breakfast. Like, so let's get those basics in place, like having nourishing food is an act of self-care. Unfortunately, it's become an act of self-care that needs to be mentioned because it seems like it's such a baseline. But I know that so many leaders are just rushing out the door, grabbing coffee on the go. And actually, I think it's really important to mention as well that when you embody taking time for self-care and you're seeing it as selfless, you are embodying and leading by example for your entire organization, so that you're going to have a more well-nourished, rich and rested workforce.
True. Another quick stat here as well from a recent study that found that teams with mindful leaders report 30% higher satisfaction and productivity. So once again, it's this inversion of the more space you make, the more productivity and satisfaction you get. But pushing everybody with the whip is rarely the right decision. You lose productivity, you lose satisfaction, and you create an environment where resentment starts happening, and you won't feel satisfied either. You will be micromanaging people, you will be being extra stressed, extra irritable. You'll soon maybe start even projecting to like, oh my God, I bet Bates haven't done that yet. Or, you know, when I come into work and he hasn't answered he hasn't answered the emails again. Like you start projecting and then you get irritated in the long run and you start once again reacting. So
all right, well, thank you for sharing those delicious stats.
Yeah,
thank you.
you're very welcome.
Last thread I would like to talk about is the difference or the way that this belief can show itself amongst men and women. I kind of think that's an important one to mention because I know this selfish piece is typically more associated, or typically, you know, it's spoken about that women feel that selfishness for taking time for themselves. So I just wondered if you had any thoughts on, maybe we could just compare our perspectives as a man and a woman.
But let me just get this straight. You are of the belief right now, just for the record, that as a woman taking time off, that would be more selfish than for a man taking time off work.
I think it's more that a woman, at least in my experience, is more likely to adhere to that limiting belief. And I'm thinking in the home here as well, you know, like it's often women that will put themselves last, make sure everyone else is fed, like make sure everyone else has got what they need. And I think that can exhaust women.
Yeah. So a big shout out to all women out there, and especially the mothers who are doing actually 2 jobs at the same time, and one of the most important jobs in the whole world, raising little ones.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's exclusive to women. I think it's just more this belief that it's selfish that I've seen, or I've just personally had more contact with when it comes to women. That like, oh, I'm selfish, and kind of running yourself into the ground. But I know in my own experience that I don't show up half as well in our relationship, in my, you know, passions, in my coaching, in my service, if I'm not rested and rejuvenated. And I guess more, obviously that is important for men and women, but I think when it comes to the hormonal cycles and the biology of a woman, that rest and rejuvenation, you know, I don't think we should push through those limits as much, you know, with that kind of masculine tenacity. I think it can have really detrimental effects on the entire nervous system. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's something I've come across a lot with my coaching clients, and I wondered if it's as prevalent or in your experience within masculine conversations and mindsets.
I think maybe the matrix programming, the push that, like, you know, you almost wear the 60-hour weeks as a badge of, like, you know, I do a lot, I'm always there, you can always count on me answering emails or answering the phone. I've heard some leaders now that, like, you know, they don't answer emails after 5 o'clock on a Friday, and they won't be back until 7 on a Monday. And if you set that standard as a leader, we'll have happier, more content employees as well. So
absolutely.
It starts with you. Michael Jackson said it earlier. It's starting with
the man in the mirror.
If you want to change the world. Jokes aside. I'm going to make a super quick summary and leave you with the image from the beginning. You are on an airplane. You're about to go down. Next to you is a child or a paralyzed person. They can't put the mask on themselves. You have to put the mask on yourself first before you help anybody else. Because if you pass out in there, it's gone for everybody.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself. Invest in yourself. That will become a huge ripple effect on all facets of life. Don't shy away from it, and leave the belief that it's selfish or that you don't have time for it to decide. Because if you don't invest in it now, you'll be forced to invest in it later down the line.
Yeah, great summary. I love a full circle moment.
Perfect.
So that's it. Thank you for joining us. As always, please leave your thoughts and key takeaways underneath. We really value those to see what's landing and resonating with you. And we'd love to see you virtually here next episode. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Bye.